Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is such a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm Cassandra Washington, your host for our Life Enhancement and Development Enterprises Empowerment Summit. And I have with me today Bernadette Hicks Kelly. And we're here this morning to finish off the closing part of our conference empowerment summit this morning. And I tell you, it has been great. We had an awesome session on last night on relationships. And the theme for our conference this weekend is it's all about the state of mind. And the reason, we focused on that is because we know the mind is the core of human life, the core of who we are. And so today we're going to continue on focusing on empowerment, impacting, and transforming our lives through renewing our mind. And so this morning we have some breaking news for you. We have some wonderful news for you on this morning.
Thinking by Walter D. Wintel. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out in this world we find success begins with the fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you could ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later the man who wins is the man who thinks he can.
It's all about the state of mind. However you think, whatever you think, whatever your thoughts are, whatever your mind imagines or think, that's the way your life is going to go. So it's all about your state of mind. And this morning, we're going to talk about how important it is to mentally prepare yourself for life, to prepare yourself for the obstacles, the challenges that you may encounter in life. And that is our purpose this morning. We want to empower you. We want to give you tools and strategies to help you transform your life and to help you pursue the destiny and the purpose you desire to see in your life. So I'm so glad to have with me this morning life coach and business coach Bernadette Hicks Kelly from Effective Transformation. She is the CEO and founder of Effective Transformation. Good morning, Bernadette.
Good
And thank you for
morning.
being here with me this morning.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited.
Yes, indeed. So we want to talk about um, mental preparedness and how important it is to mental health. When we talk about mental preparedness, we're saying that getting your mind, we work this physical body, right?
Mhm.
We work this physical body, we exercise, and we try to eat right to get this physical body into good health so that we can be able to have the energy to do the things that we need to do. Well, the mind needs to be exercised and strengthened as well. So when we talk about mental preparedness, we're talking about strengthening this mind
Mm.
so to be able to handle effectively the situations that comes through life. And we don't want you to just be able to survive the situation. We
Yes.
want you to be able to thrive and flourish in the midst of them. And after you go through the situation, we want you to be able to continue to live this abundant and prosperous and successful life. So that's what we're talking about when we say mental preparedness. And it's all a part of mental health.
Exactly.
It's all a part of mental health. Mental health has to do with your emotional and your psychological well being. We have to be able to cope with the stress of those life. Excuse me. You have to be able to, because stressors will come. You know,
Yes.
stresses will come, and it's just a part of life. We encounter
Absolutely.
things, but it's the way we experience those things, or the way we respond to them, the way we react to them determines how productive and successful we would be. So mental preparedness is a part of mental health. We want to be able to be productive. We want to
Absolutely.
be able to contribute to our community, to our family, those who are around us, those who come in contact with us. We want to be able to impart and contribute wonderful and successful things to our communities and to those we encounter and engage with on a daily basis. But if we are not healthy mentally, that would be difficult for us to do. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, I agree. It is definitely a state of mind. So when I saw this theme for the summit, I was just excited. So, Cassandra, I just have a few questions for you. I
Okay,
just want to
sure.
know, how did you come up with the theme, or what made you come up with this theme for today?
Well, what made me think about it's all in the state of mind, because you and I, we're two people who often talk, along with a couple of other my friends that I have in my circle, and
The top
you
five.
remember, right? So you remember when we did the conference on last year?
Yes.
No, 2020. It was the beginning of 2020, before
Mhm.
the pandemic hit. And one thing that I learned and I observed, because when we do things, we should reflect back on what can we do better, what can we change. And I noticed that people, we offered things free. We offered scholarships, $500 scholarships,
Yes.
and I found that people really did not pursue it.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, God, what would? And He was like, Cassandra, until you get people's mind,
Hmm.
until you get people to think differently, can encourage and motivate people to be aware of their thinking and to change in their thinking, there's nothing you really can do. And He was letting me know, you have to start with the mind.
With the mind.
You got to start
Absolutely.
with the thinking, because your thoughts and what you think about yourself and think about life, that's what's going to lead you in your decisions and in the way that your life is going to be. And so that's how I came up with the theme. It's all about the state of mind.
I love it. I love. Okay, let's talk about the mind. So when you talk about, people having to change their mind. So what are some of the ways that we can change our mind? So, if I say I've been this way all my life now, and you're now telling me, okay, you got to change who you are. So what are some of the tools I can use to change who I am, or who I believe I am?
Okay, and like I said, it starts with your thinking.
Okay.
It starts with your thinking about any particular situation.
Hmm.
What's your perspective when and that's one thing I want to start out by talking about. How do you think about disagreements?
Yes.
How do you, when you have have a conflict with someone, how do you respond?
Yes.
Do you avoid? And I want to ask our audience. We're so glad that you all have joined us this morning. Oh, I see Prophetess Sarah von der Linden. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So, and Jamie, thank you for joining us, Jamie. Shamika Hawkins, good morning, Shamika. Good morning. Lynette Thomas, good morning,
Good
everyone. Thank you
morning.
all for joining us. Samantha, one of our moderators from last night, thank you for
Yes.
joining us this morning. And so when we say conflict, so this is what I want you all to do this morning. I'm going to, when we talk about conflict, I'm going to go through 5 ways in which we deal with conflict. And when I call out the one, yeah, when I call out, it's five. So if one of those areas resonate with you, I want you to put an emoji in the comment that goes along with uh the type of resolution that I'm going to mentions. For instance, one of the ways people deal with conflict is avoidance. They avoid it. So if you are one who avoid, there's a little emoji for the man and the woman that shows running, avoiding. I just get away from it. I just don't deal with it at all. So I'm going to list five. So the first one is avoidance. So she asked the question, what are some strategies, so I'm dealing with conflict. So when it comes to conflict, what is your thinking about conflict? Samantha says running, and that's what I like. Thank you, Samantha. People, be honest. Let's
Yes.
be
Yes.
honest. Because if we're not honest, you cannot repair and fix the situation.
Exactly.
So you need to be honest. So Samantha, I thank you for being honest. So avoidance. Do you run? Do you run when it's time for when conflict arises? Another one. Another one. Do you accommodate? Do you accommodate? Do you give in? Do you give in? Do you let the other person just have it in your point of view? You just give up your point of view and you compromise yourself. Do you accommodate? The third one, do you compromise? Is it a give and take? Is it a give and take? Do you give a little and take a little, or you try to see what it is that you have to give up in order to stay in relationship with the person? Then collaborate. Do you try to find a way to work with the person to get to the best solution? And when you think about it, just think about how you respond to conflict. And we are talking about ways and strategies and how we deal with our thinking and areas in our thinking, because we do know that conflict is a part of life. You're not going
Absolutely.
to see eye to eye. You're not going to agree with people. Conflict is going to arise. But do you deal with conflict in a healthy way?
Mm.
Do you deal with it in a healthy way? Do you think avoidance is the way to deal with it? Because sometimes when we just put it off, won't deal with it, won't deal with it, won't deal with it, it festers.
Yes.
And then over a period of time, you keep letting it, just not dealing with it, not dealing with it, not dealing with it. And then you said a person all of a sudden blow up. And you wonder, like, what happened? What happened? Well, it didn't happen all of a sudden. It
Exactly.
didn't happen all of a sudden. This was time. Things just being pushed back, pushed back, pushed
Yes.
back. It happens. It happens. And then, so this brings me to another area that we have to change in our thinking, is become emotionally stable. Now, when I say emotionally stable, I'm not talking about push back your emotions, because guess what? We have a soul, and our soul is part. Our emotions are a part of that. So, as human beings, we feel anger, we feel sad, we
Yes.
feel joy. So it's a part of who we are. But do you allow your emotions to rule your decisions? Do you make decisions based upon your emotions? Do you allow your emotions to cause you to act out in a negative way? That's a part of your thinking. How do you handle yourself emotionally? And then another way we can deal with our thinking is, what is your perspective? How do you handle your perspective? How do you see? What is your thought process when it comes to challenging situations? Do you see challenging situations as an opportunity, or do you see challenging situations as something to come to take you out? Which, or you see this as, I'm done, or I can't do it, or I this is something that overtakes me. But do you see challenging situations as an opportunity to be better, to sharpen your creative skills? So those are just some of the areas. Good morning, Rona. Those are just some of the areas in our thinking where we can determine if we need to address our being healthier or preparing ourselves better.
Okay, those were awesome. I'm laughing because on a lot of these you touched on. I was like, "Ooh, I remember being in these places." I remember with, being avoiding situations or accommodating or compromise. I remember all of those situations. And so I'm laughing because, it's so nice to have been there and now to have grown to a better place that
Mm-hmm.
now I can deal with my emotions as you as you spoke about, and putting things in the right perspective, because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't always, sometimes, as they say, young and dumb, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we're young and dumb and we just have to tell ourselves the truth. And so I'm so glad today to be on here with you and just be in a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you know, Cassandra, I've talked to you and some of my friends and family members. I am that person that if I'm not careful, I can easily operate in being passive aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh-huh.
things can bother me and bother me. Now, I may not lash out at you and scream. I'm not going to raise my voice and freak out. But what I will do is I will shut down on you. And when I get
Yeah.
quiet, I'm not going to say anything, but you already know I'm going to get even, as I used to say. or I'm mad and I don't want to deal with it. So, and I know if I deal with it right now, I'm probably going to say something that I'm going to regret, or I don't want to say, or I just really don't want to deal with it right now. So what I would do is just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned how to, if there is an issue, I've learned how to communicate better than
Mm-hmm.
just shutting down and letting you know later on that I was upset about that situation. Because, I got that gift to call goodbye. And so I've learned not to always operate in that gift. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you mentioned these things because I have so grown. So it's just nice to see where I grew from.
Yes, and and some of the other persons in the some of our viewers, prophetess Sarah von der Linden said it took her years to learn how to bring her emotions under subjection, and it took her relationship with God to help her to
Yes,
do that, to learn how to do that, and that is key, because what do you use to ground you? What is it that you use to ground you?
exactly.
What is it that you use to develop yourself emotionally and mentally? And Samantha said she gets real quiet, and she said, "Baby, bye." She gets real quiet, and and
Yes,
and now let's talk about that, because sometimes it's good to to retrieve. It's
yes,
good, especially when you feel yourself in a state where you can say something that's hurtful or do something that's hurtful. Because see, I know when I get to, and everybody needs to know
you have to know.
what that trigger is,
Yes,
and needs to know. That's another thing about mental health. You have to know yourself and know your ability. You need to know who you are
exactly.
and what that trigger is. And for me, I know that it takes a lot. I would take a lot, but it takes a lot to get me there. But when you get me there, I
Yes,
have to run. I have to run almost. I have to go real fast. I'll have to walk real fast, almost at a trot, to get away, because I know that
yes,
if I blow, I'm going to say something that's hurtful. And I don't want to do that, because one thing you cannot do is take words back. And when you
exactly.
say things to hurt a person, when you say things to hurt a person, you have to rebuild, take the time to rebuild that trust, and have to take the time to help heal that hurt and situation that you have caused. So to try to avoid that, I have to get away, and I have to tell the person, that look, just give me, don't talk to me right now. Just let me calm down, and once I'm able to talk in a respectful manner. Because let's just be honest now, sometimes them thoughts and words that come to your mind is not nice.
It's not
They're
nice.
not nice.
So
And
that
so
leads me to another
huh?
question. So are you saying that I'm sorry don't fix everything? Just because you say I'm sorry after you've said what you wanted to say? Are you saying I'm
No,
sorry won't fix everything?
Sorry, there's more. Sometimes, people are holding out for an apology.
Yes.
They're holding out for an apology, and they want you to hear. They want to hear you say that you're sorry and I apologize. But then they're ready for you to go another step, and that is to take the action or do the work that you won't ever do that again.
Okay.
Take,
Okay.
take some action and responsibility that supports I'm sorry, that supports I apologize. Because if you really mean that you're sorry and apologize, then you're going to take the necessary action and do the work so that you can mature in that area and you won't do that again.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so y'all, we are on it today, Miss Cassandra. Look, I'm finding myself all over again. So now I got to go back when this is over and make sure I got this whole mental health, this mental state together, and I'm mentally prepared. So I have another question. I know you and I have talked before, so I kind of wrote some of my questions down. So my next question is, when you state that the mind, our mental health is the core of our existence and the foundation of living a prosperous life, what are you referring to?
Well, when I'm referring to, because we do know, and well, some I'm not going to say we do know. We have to understand
Okay.
that your life right now is your decisions that you made. Your life is the sum total of decisions that you have made. So that comes from your decisions, comes from your mind. And that's why we are told that we should guard our mind, guard our heart, because your life decisions flow from your mind.
Okay, okay, hold on. So what you saying, it doesn't matter what somebody did to me, I can't blame them forever. So
No,
if I didn't have the best mom and the best daddy, and now I'm now 40, it's still not their fault?
they have to be responsible and accountable for what they do, but you are responsible and accountable for your life. You are. You are
Woo!
responsible and accountable for your life and how and for the trajectory of your life.
Okay,
Because
okay. Now look, you got me hot up in here now. So if I'm married to a crazy man, I mean a crazy man, and then I get a divorce, it ain't his fault 10 years later that I'm still in a crazy place?
no, you're divorced and you're gone. He's gone that way and you gone your way. So what have you done to prepare yourself for the emotional trauma you may have experienced, or the hurt you have experienced, or the disappointment that you have experienced? What have you done to rectify all of those things, or to heal all those things,
Okay,
or to deal
okay.
with
Let's
all those
let's
things?
let's stop. Let's stop. Let's stop. Because I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. So what you saying is no matter what he did, no matter what she did, I am responsible for getting my life back on track. And if my life
You are
off track,
responsible. Yes, you are responsible. You are your own individual person. One of the things that I have listed is, when we were talking about changing your thinking, you have to take control of your outcome. You have to validate. You have to validate. You don't let other people validate who you are. Those situations and circumstances are things that happen. You are not your situation and your circumstance. You are not that.
okay,
That is something that you may have experienced or you may have gone through, but that's not who you are. Now, people do allow things that happen to them dictate who they are, and but you're in control of that. That's because you have given yourself, submitted yourself under that, and submitted yourself to that, and given yourself to it into that. But if you want your life, if you want to be who you need to be, you have to make a decision. You
so
have to
wait,
make a decision
okay,
in your mind. You have to make a
in my mind.
decision that I want to be better. I remember there was a time when I was in a situation, and I was Oh my God, the person, because I had, and I'm gonna say this too. People, everybody not raised the same way. Everybody does not come have the same environment, and so when I realized that, and I was an adult, I just thought everybody had good teaching, like I did. I
Yes.
thought I just thought everybody had good training and good teaching like I did. But I come to find out, people that everybody wasn't taught and raised the same. And so they thought I was crazy and I thought they were crazy. Because I'm
Okay.
like, what is wrong with you? And they were like, what is wrong with you? And I would notice that these people would keep me up in an uproar all the time.
Mm,
All the time.
okay.
And I was like, this is not me. I'm a joyful person. I'm a happy person. I like to laugh. I like to talk. But I had gotten in this place where I was just, I didn't trust anybody. I was
Mm.
rude. And it was all because of the way I was letting these people affect me. And one day I was like, I want myself back.
Also, it was affecting your character, so it was
It
changing
was
your character.
It was affecting I was
Yes.
allowing it to affect my character and affect my personality. And I just was like, no. And so I stopped focusing on what the people were doing and started focusing on how I was responding. And
Okay.
I started working on now they didn't stop doing what they were doing.
Hmm.
But I said, okay, when this happens again, this is how I need to respond. And so that's what I started working on, the way that I would respond. And I had to do it over and over and over again. And it got to the point where the person said, I noticed that you don't do such and such anymore when this happens. They said, you've changed. I said, yes, I have. Because I refuse to let somebody be in control of my life and have me all out of sorts. Have me all out of sorts and not really being who I am. So I had to take control of that.
So
Nobody else
with
could
that,
control
so
me.
with that, what you mean also is we also can pick up bad habits by
Oh,
being
yes.
around the wrong circle. Because I do consulting quite a bit, and I've noticed that I've worked with some consultants that I had never heard curse ever. I'd never
Mm-hmm.
heard these ladies curse before. And we got around, we were traveling one time, and all of a sudden this lady started cursing. I was like, when did you start cursing? I was like, I've never heard you curse. I've known you for a number of years. I've never heard you curse. And she said, I used to be a bad cursor. And she said, now stop. But when I got around these ladies and they're cursing all the time, I picked that habit back up. And do you know, it took her a minute to stop, even once and we were there for like a weekend. We were there
Mm-hmm.
and we hadn't even been there 2 weeks yet working with this group. But just being in their presence in those few minutes made
Mm-hmm.
her pick that old bad habit back up of cursing all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so, just what you're saying with that mental state, if we're not careful, we will pick up even things that wasn't a part of who we were in the first place, but we just
Mm-hmm.
around people with negativity, ugly habits, bad
Mm-hmm.
situations, and now we got someone put in there stinking thinking. So now
Mm-hmm.
we got some old stinking thinking because we done picked up somebody else's bad habits. So it really is a mental thing.
Yes.
I'm just excited about today's subject. So I don't know. Do we want to take a minute and read what people are saying? What are
We do because
yes.
the audience is saying some wonderful things. Rona said, it does. That's why I can't stand to be around people that curse a lot. Because whatever goes in your ears, what goes in your ears, and I've been hearing this for years. You got to watch your ears, your eyes, your whatever goes in. That's what's coming out. That's what you're gonna. That's what you. And they use the term regurgitate, but that's what you're gonna give back. Whatever goes in, that's what goes out. Lynette says different situations demand different responses. Sometime, and Lynette, that is true.
Yes.
Sarah says, standing on the word of God, He will never change, and His word will never return to Him void. So we were
Absolutely.
talking about what keeps you grounded, and Sarah is saying for her, it's godly principles. It's the word of God. Uh, Rona said that's why most of the time she stay quiet, and sometimes it's quick. It's better to be slow to speak. Don't be so quick to
Yes.
respond with things happen. And so, Sarah says, as I continue to mature in my spiritual walk, I am conscious of decisions to
Absolutely.
separate myself from those I believe are a threat to my spiritual growth. And she makes
Absolutely.
no apology for placing top value on her salvation. So
Absolutely.
you have to validate yourself. You have to validate yourself. You have to say, you have to look at, are you seeking affirmations from other people? Are you seeking other people to approve your standards, your values, your aspirations? Um, are you a prisoner to other people's opinions?
Yes. A
Are
lot
you
of people are. A lot, if we are not careful, and it's so easy to get into that. And most of the time, people to get into that is because of false praise. Sometimes you
Mhm.
get that false praise, and so then you get into that people pleasing, because now you're
Yes.
getting that false praise.
Yes, and I love Jonathan McReynolds' song, People.
People
Deliver me from people.
deliver.
Yes, they are opinionated. Some
Yes.
of them are hating. Some of them are loving. But
Yes.
you know, one thing that there's a biblical writing where it says Jesus he didn't let he didn't let the praises bother him, and he didn't let the criticisms bother him, because you know
Absolutely.
what? People are subject to change.
At any
People
given
are
time.
people are subject to change. Any little thing can happen, and people will go from being supportive to being critical and bashing. And so we have to know who we are,
Absolutely.
and look to the person who created you. Get
Absolutely.
your validation from the one who really knows you. And Era Jackson said every situation does not, does not require a response. Sometimes we just say, I just got to say it. I just got, no,
No,
you don't.
you don't. No, you don't. Helen said, yes, Lord, deliver me from people.
Yeah. Yes, because sometimes we can know what we were supposed to do in the right way to do, but we'll let somebody else pull us in a direction that we know we shouldn't go. And that's why it's so important. Mental health is so important. Mental preparedness is so important. We need to be teaching this to our children from a
Yes,
young age.
absolutely.
You know, we need to be teaching them life is going, everybody, I have nieces and nephews, and I tell them, I say, you know the way Auntie love you. Everybody not gonna treat you like that.
Mm-mm.
Everybody is not. You're gonna encounter people in this world who don't like you. You're gonna encounter people in this world who may be envious and jealous. And I said, then you got to watch yourself. That's why
Exactly.
you have to start when they're young. Um, what did Lynette say? Lynette had something up that she said, I've learned to respond and not just react. And we need to understand that reacting is a part of responding. Reacting is when you respond in a way that you're going to do something hurtful, or you may
Exactly.
do something. So you got to be careful of that. Rose says sometimes we can hold each other accountable because they are not aware. If you are close to them, simply tell them the truth in love. And that goes back, thank you, Rose. That goes back
Absolutely.
to one of the strategies that you give is to have the right people
Have the right
in your
people.
life. If you have, and people say this all the time, if you want to know who you are, look at the friends.
Look at your friends.
Look at your friends, know who you are. My niece said something to me some years ago. I had gone through something and I had just allowed people, negativity, rejection and not believing in me and not accepting me. It had beat me down so much. So
Mhm.
I just had gotten to the point where I just didn't feel like I just didn't feel like moving forward. So I accepted something that was mediocre.
Yes.
And my niece, and at the time, I think I was like in my late 30s, and my
Mhm.
niece was like 20, 22. And we think, now you young, you younger than me, and I'm an adult. You don't talk to me no any kind of way. But she did it. because you know these this generation,
Oh
they
no.
just don't tell you, they speak it. And my niece asked me, she said, Auntie Cassandra. I said, she came to the job where I was working. She said, Auntie Cassandra. I said, yes. She said, what kind of friends you got that they let you do this? I said, what did you say?
Wow.
I said, what? She said, what's wrong with your friends that
Wow.
they didn't tell you that this is not where you're supposed to be? That this is not
Wow.
what you're supposed to be doing. Girl, now you know if the for my first response was, who are you, little girl?
The girl.
But then I thought about it. I thought about it, and I'm like, and this is what she was saying. She was saying, you know that you are better than this. You know that you are supposed to be, that you are greater than this. And I understand that you have gone through some things, but what kind of friends you got that they want to encourage you to let you know that this is not it?
This is not yet. And we say it all the time. You know, we go out to Walmart and we see people walking, they dress crazy, and we be like, okay, they either don't have a mirror or they don't have a friend. Because somebody should have told them, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
This
do
is
that.
not it.
That's not
Yes.
it.
Uh,
So with that being said, Cassandra, I want to add something to that. That is so wonderful because
mhm,
on today, when we're doing this, yes, we are talking about our lives and we're talking about stories and things that we went through. But what we really want you to do for our listeners is shine the mirror, shine the light on yourself. Because
mhm,
every now and then we can focus on other people and we can clearly see where their issues are, but we don't always see where our issues are.
mhm,
So when we're having these sessions and we're having these summits and we're having these conference, it's really about giving you, it's this about you. This is
mhm,
my time. So every now and then we have to be selfish. I said the beginning of this year, this was my receiving year. So when people
mhm,
were calling, asking, can you do this? Can you do? I said, I'm receiving this year.
mhm,
I'm receiving assistance. You asking for financial assistance, I'm receiving this year. So send me financial assistance. You know, you asking me to pay bills. I want my light bill paid this year. I want
uh-huh,
my gas bill paid. I want you to give me a new car this year. So when we're doing these summits and we're doing these conference, it's for me. It's my time to receive. Even when I'm talking, as y'all see, I done got wrapped up into Cassandra. What she's talking about, I'm like, oh my God, have I grown? Because it's
mhm,
about me. I want to make sure that I'm growing. I want to make sure that I see me. So everyone that's here, as you listen, make sure that you shine the light on yourself as well. Because it's so easy for us to see somebody. We say something like, oh, that's Joe. I know who that is. That's Tammy. That's my girlfriend Tammy. She acts just like that. Okay, but are we
mhm.
looking at us? So anyway,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that little bit right there.
That's true. And Lynette said something. Oh, she said our tribe should help us be our best selves. That's
Absolutely.
what we want. We want people around have. I love this movie. This, oh, what is the name of this movie where the guy was over the football team, and when he got the football team, they were just losing, 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 and he worked with them using mental preparedness. And they was and I was reading that mental preparedness is used by coaches, used by lawyers, used by some of the top professions, because the arena that they work in and the opposition and the challenges that they face, they need their mind to be conditioned to handle those situations. And so we have to be conditioned in life. We have to condition our mind. We have to train our mind, train ourselves to be able to handle situations in life. Have you all seen a person and this is one thing that I said, I don't want to be uh 40, 50, 60 and still not growing, not
Absolutely.
developing, handling things the same way over and over and over again. If you see that it's not working, You need to
Absolutely.
make a change.
Make a
And that's one
change.
of the things too. You got to be prepared to make a change. But one thing that I think is sad is when we are not aware. When
Yes,
when it goes back to what you were just saying, you don't you know you're not taking it to yourself. You're saying, well, that's somebody else, or that's
exactly.
no. Is it you?
Is it you?
Is it you? Are you?
Is it
You know,
me?
look at your life. Look at
Yes.
your life and the decisions. Where is your? It's the decisions that you've been making. It's not being able to handle the things, situations, or issues in life in a successful and effective way. And that's
Absolutely.
all we're saying is mental preparedness. You got to have the strategies and you got to have the tools to be able to do that. And as human beings, we have to, it is our responsibility to do so. It is our responsibility to do so. And not being able to handle things socially, not being able to handle things in the workplace, not being able to even deal with our own selves
Yes.
affects our productivity in life. Sarah says, "I truly learned the hard way that when a situation change, people will change. Unfortunately,
Yes.
I did not see this truth while on the mountaintop. It became clear
Yes.
while I was in the valley." What?
Amen, Sarah. Who was that? Samantha said that?
Sarah
Sarah.
Meyer.
Amen, Sarah. So,
Can you
sometimes
please
we
put?
don't
Let me read
grow.
that again. I need to read that
Please
again.
read that again.
Sarah said, "I truly learned." She learned it the hard way. She learned it the hard way that when a situation change, people, and she put it in all caps, will change. Unfortunately, I didn't see this truth in all caps while on the mountaintop. It became clear while I was in the valley. Oh,
I love it. Love it. Because it's the truth. It's
it's
the
the
truth.
truth.
It's the
It's the
absolute truth.
absolute truth. So, what do you do when you're in the valley and you don't have you down in the valley? That's what we're saying. When you're in the valley, when it seems like you're at a disadvantage, when things not going the way that you want to go, how do you handle it? How do you handle it? What do you pull out of your toolbox? What do you pull out of your strategy box? How is it that you get back up on the mountaintop? What do you do? Or do you just give up and stay in the valley? Do you die in the valley? Do you
So,
allow
Miss Sandra,
depression to
what
get you in the
what do
valley?
you recommend? What do you recommend for building mental strength? What do you recommend?
Well, for everybody that is different. For me, I use biblical principles to build my strength. I use prayer and meditation, and I use the word of God to be. I go back to the one who made me and created me.
Absolutely.
Because people will try to tell you who you're not, who, and that's where a lot of times where our sadness and depression comes from, because we want people to accept us, we want people to believe in us. But when people don't believe in me, don't I go back, what keeps me grounded? I go back to the one who made me and created me, and I go
Absolutely.
back to what he said and who he said that I am. And I say that I don't always say it out loud, but I say it to myself. If you don't believe in who I am, if you don't accept who I am, then you take it up with him.
Exactly.
Because he made me, he created me, and I get the direction and instructions from him. I had to get that though, because it used to floor me and used to hurt me, because people that I loved, people that I respected, people that I thought were in who were in my corner, uh, what Sarah said.
Sarah is on it today. That's
Yeah.
Sarah. Now, Sarah said the word because that's what we have to do is, the valley is where we grow. It's not on the mountaintop. It's the
Right.
valley. That's the place where we grow. That's the place where we learn. That's the place where we find our true friends is
Mm-hmm.
when I'm down to nothing. Who
Mm-hmm.
here with me? Who gonna help pick me up? As your niece said, who gonna come and tell me I'm better than this? Because as
Mm-hmm.
long as I'm on the mountaintop, every fake friend I have, every fake associate, they're gonna be up there trying. As a matter of fact, they want to be up there because I am up there and they want me to pull them up. But in the valley, when you're at your lowest, when your car been repossessed, when you have to move out of your house
Come
and you
on.
got to move into somebody's basement, not got your own apartment, when you got to move back home with mama, who they're saying it's okay. Don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about it. When you and husband and children got to move back in with somebody, mama, who is that friend that's still saying it's okay? You don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
embarrassed. You're not the only one. But the
Mm-hmm.
person that talking about you, set them free. But we're not gonna go there today because I'll get excited because
She
I
said
set
set
them
them
free.
free. And you
But
know
I
what?
love that, Sarah. That's it, Sarah. The valley
Yes.
is a good place. Sometimes the valley ain't the worst place. The valley is the best place
Oh,
sometimes.
the valley is when you discover who you are. And
Exactly,
it was
exactly,
when I was in the valley that I discovered that I was privileged and entitled.
exactly, exactly.
And I was like, okay, and I had to be schooled, I had to be deprogrammed. Like who you think who are you that you think that somebody and po me. I thought everybody liked me. I got a rude awakening because I had been around people
Yes.
who liked me or whatever, who said, or at least who said they did. But when I encountered some people who didn't care about I could sing, didn't care about I was smart or intelligent or all that kind of stuff, and they didn't treat me like they appreciated that or valued that. I was like, oh, okay. And then I want to, getting upset and get mad. And I was, and God told me, like, get up from there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Stop this crying.
But you know what? In the valley too is a place to grow. Like if you already broke, then you know what? You're gonna become creative, So if you're gonna come real creative, if you need some money, you're gonna become extremely, extremely creative. So if you've been out to every job and you still haven't gotten a job, guess what you're gonna learn? Networking, because you're gonna get on the phone, start calling everybody you know. Are they hiring where you are? Are they looking for somebody else? You grow in the valley. You're gonna get creative. I promise you will.
Yeah. And either that or you're going to die.
Are you gonna
So
die?
if it gets bad enough for you, but I had to start looking at things in a different perspective. And what it did was it pushed me closer. Pushed me closer to God, and then it made me start focusing on what He was saying about me and not other people. And then when I began to just because I had been doing all these things, I had been doing all these things, and I realized, okay, that didn't make me. That was just something that I did.
Exactly.
That was just a part of a gift. But who I am, and girl, when I started realizing who I am, it came to me. Send them a thank you card.
Yeah, you
Put
actually
your
should
little
send them
put a
a
little
thank
money
you.
in it and send them a thank you card and tell them thank you
Yes,
so much,
because
thank
I
you
didn't
so.
even know,
I did,
that
because
I could
what
do
you
this.
did helped me to realize who I am and really what my capabilities are. And I
Awesome.
thank you for helping me come to this revelation. Because had you not done that, I still would have been piddling around in mediocrity, as Bishop Jake said, down there with the turtles. And I'm a giraffe.
So you've been that eagle, you would have been with the chickens.
Child, I was that eagle down there with the chickens. But honey, when I got that revelation, and that is not to look down on nobody else, but I really had to realize who I was, and those things, those times when I was in the valley. And I'm telling you, I stayed in the valley for. And one thing God, He said, now you may be in the wilderness spot right now, but you're not going to forever be in the wilderness. And so these are the things that were being done to build me up mentally, to prepare me for
Absolutely.
this challenge and this situation that I felt was, that I believed at the time was terrible, or that was not conducive for me. But I found out, there were so many things that I experienced in life, and I was, with the right mindset, I can handle anything.
You can handle anything.
I've
Absolutely.
experienced death in family. I've experienced financial problems. I've experienced relationship problems. But guess what? Through all of it, it was through the way that I went back to what grounded me.
Exactly.
Went back to
Absolutely.
what grounded me. How does God say I need to deal with this? And then
Absolutely.
affirmations. I encourage everybody to do affirmations and confessions. And even if you just have one time, I just stuck on one. I was stuck on one affirmation for months. And that affirmation was, I am loved by God. I am
Loved by
loved.
God.
He loves me. He loves me. I know he loves me. Therefore, every good thing he has, he wants me to have it. And I had to stick on
Absolutely.
that for a long time because of a lot of negativity that I had received. So I had to build myself up with that thinking and with that affirmation. And my affirmations are biblically based. And I don't apologize for that because that,
Rosa said, "Preach, girl."
yes, Sarah said we grow spiritually in the valley because the only voice we will hear is the voice of Jesus. So when you get, and that's true, because when
That's
you
true.
get in the valley, sometimes you the only one down there, and that's when
Exactly.
you really get in a quiet place. Because you know what, when we're up on the mountaintop and all these accolades and all of this stuff, we really can't hear. But
Exactly.
when we're down there in the valley, Lynette Thomas said Jesus is the lily of the valley. Yes, he is. You better say this. And she said we
Amen.
go from faith to faith and from glory to glory. So, I want you all to, right quick, I want you to put in the comment, what grounds you? What grounds you? How do you, she asked the question, what do you do to come up out of the valley? What do you do to come up out of the valley when you realize that you're in a place and you feel like you're in a defeated place? When
Is
you
someone
feel
is someone asking that question, Cassandra?
no, I'm asking
You're
them.
asking us that question.
I'm asking you that question. I want you to put in the comment, what do you do to come out of the valley? How do you condition yourself mentally? Although you may be in the valley, how do you condition yourself mentally to be on the mountaintop, to see yourself on the mountaintop?
While they are writing, Cassandra, I will share.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's rare, it's very rare that I talk about going through my divorce. So I've been divorced. So it's rare that I talk about going through my divorce. But
Mm-hmm.
for every divorced person that's on here, I will share a piece of my story. So what I want to say to the divorced person, when I was in my valley, what happened is Cassandra said it a few seconds ago. She said either you gonna live or you gonna die. So what I did was I allowed that old person to die. That old person that had gone through all that foolishness, I let her die. And so when my ex would talk to me or say something to me, even right before the divorce, he asked me question, and I said to him, "Oh, she died. I buried her. She don't even live here no more. She died, and I buried her." And so I forget. So answer the question. To get myself out of the valley, I let that old person die. Not
Mm-hmm.
only did I let her die, I buried her. So when that person or individual say, "Oh, you changed," absolutely, I
Mm-hmm.
changed because she died. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even look the same. I don't act the same because I buried that old person. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, in order for us to get out of the valley, we need to leave that junk behind. Bury that. Don't bring that out of the valley with you. Leave that. Come
Mm-hmm.
out with something brand new. Don't bring that back out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that upset, the frustration, all the baggage that came along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Bury that. And certainly you don't want to take that into your new relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Boaz is on the other side of the hill, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Mm,
Did you meet him? Did you meet
praise
Boaz?
the Lord, hallelujah. Mm. You don't want to have all that old baggage with you. Leave that in the valley. All my sisterhood friends on this line, when you hear this later on, please leave your baggage. Don't take that with you. When you go over the hill, you need to be a brand new person, an absolutely brand new person, and don't drag that with you. Bury her. Let her die. Let all that die and bury her. So you'll get over the hill.
That's right. Lynette says it's also important to know what to do when you're in the valley. So that's what we're saying. When you're in the valley, what are you doing? so that you
Yes.
can get yourself back up.
Work
And
on you. Work on
Ye-
you.
yes, and Shamika, I believe Shamika said she spent time in the presence of God and create affirmation from scripture to elevate her thinking. Awesome. Can you put that there? Because that is
Awesome.
so
Awesome,
key. That's
Shamika.
why I say it's in support. And Shamika said, I spend time in the presence of God and create affirmations from scripture to elevate my
My
thinking. And that's what we're
thinking.
saying. These are things that you can do to prepare yourself mentally to deal with conflict, challenges, situations that come against you. You have to have a plan.
Your
Uh,
mind.
so you got to have a plan to work to because it's starting your thinking. Whatever you're
Absolutely.
planning in your mind to deal with the situation, that's what you're going to do. So that's why it's
Absolutely.
important to make affirmations. And like she said, I make mine as well based upon the scripture, based upon what God
Absolutely.
says. And I say those things. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what it looks like. I don't even care what my inabilities are. I'm looking at what God says and what God says I can do. What God says I can do. And so, and Lynette was saying,
Absolutely, Sarah.
what Sarah say?
She said, Boaz, when Boaz found you.
Yes. Yes, your Boaz shall find you, and he will find a good thing and
Yes,
have
he
favor
did.
with God. Come on, he have favor
Amen.
with God once he get with you. And so that's what we're saying. You have to, when you're in a down place, when you're
Yes.
in a place where it looks like, okay, the enemy, I'm about, this is about to take me over. How do you prepare yourself mentally, because you're supposed to be on top? You're supposed to be on top. Reverend Milton sent me a text message that, that when you're going through hell, keep going through. Keep going
Amen.
through. Don't stop, because if you quit, you're gonna it's gonna consume you.
Amen.
So you keep going through. And it's important to meditate on. And for me, I pray, I meditate. I think Lady Samantha said something too that was really good. She prays, she meditate, she put on songs, and I love music. So sometimes, that's what I would do. I put on songs that are encouraging and motivating, and put on songs that edify the one I trust in and believe in, and keep my
Absolutely.
focus. It is so important to keep your focus. When you're in
Focus.
the valley, put your focus up, look up,
Absolutely.
look up. Look up. Don't look at your situation and your surroundings. Look up. These are some things, these are some strategies. And it's not, sometimes people waiting for something big to happen. No, it's the little simple things that's going to
Yes.
get you to where you want to be. It's
Absolutely.
things that are doable that will get you to where you want to be. So we hope that we have said something today to encourage you, to help you live your best
Best life.
life. We don't want to
Absolutely.
just exist. We don't want to be those people who allow our situations to overtake us and to overcome us. And we look up 5 years, we're still in the same place. We look up 10 years,
Absolutely.
we're still in the same place. 15 years, now we're 50, now we're 55, 60, and we're still as like going around this same mountain, going around this same mountain, going around with this same situation. This same situation, it's been staring me in the face for 15, 20 years.
And blaming others.
Huh?
And blaming others.
And blaming other people.
Take
No,
responsibility.
take responsibility, have some accountability.
Yes.
Take responsibility and have some accountability. I believe Rose said it earlier. You got to have some people around you to say, all right now. And
It's you.
start talking about that same thing. You need somebody to say, okay, look, you've been talking about this for 5 years, or you've been talking about this for 12 months. I'm not going to entertain you talking about, you need to do something different. And when a person is ready to do something different, you ain't got to hunt them down.
You ain't got to tell them.
You're not to tell them that when you know and think they're gonna be doing it, and you be, oh, when did you?
Take it down.
When did you?
You got
Dorita
mad.
Powell says, Dorita says she push. When she's in the valley, she push.
Push.
She pray until something happens.
Absolutely.
And Lynette says, we want to thrive and not just survive. Come on, Lynette.
Exactly.
That's what we're
Exactly.
talking about.
Y'all on it
We want-
today. Y'all on it today.
Look, we
I
didn't even,
love this audience.
maybe all we had to do was just start it, and they, because I'm telling
Okay.
you.
That's what I'm talking about.
So this has been wonderful. This has been wonderful, and we want to continue in this same, this same vein about, even with our finances. Now I'm telling you, people, somebody may be saying, Christina, how every time you have something, every time you talking about money, you talking about finances, you talk. Why? Because it is important.
It's
It
important.
is important. It's one of the one reasons people get divorced,
Yes.
and it's one of the number one reasons that the African American community have so many problems and minorities,
Absolutely.
because of finances and because of money, and it has a lot to do with the way we think,
Exactly.
the way we think, and the way we review ourselves, and the way we view ourselves, and the way we think about money. And
Absolutely.
so that's one of the reasons why every time I have something, I have a piece or focus on this, because I know for us to get to that place of freedom, a place of freedom and living a good life, you got to change. And look, for us who are Christians and for us who are believers, Jesus talked a lot about money.
A lot.
He talked a lot about money because money was so important. And just like we was talking about mental preparedness, are you preparing your mind when it comes to money?
Absolutely.
What are you thinking? And so a lot of times we realize that we have a problem, but we don't want to face the problem. We
Exactly.
don't want to deal with the problem. Bernadette, why do you think that is? We don't want to deal with the problem.
Fear. The number one reason that we don't want to deal with the problem is fear. And sometimes it's just overwhelming. When we see the number of bills and we feel like we're in such a deep hole, it's overwhelming. If you told me I owe $100 somewhere, I could see that. Or maybe I need to pay $50. But then when you say, well, you owe 50,000 or 100,000, 500,000, you are $1 million in debt, that's overwhelming to me. And so most of the time people just want to go crawl into bed, get under the covers in a sense, because that fear kicks in and you don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
That's usually what
it,
happens.
it does. I think I said it before. I remember when I was having some financial woes. Oh my God! When another envelope would come and I would look and I would see who the I put that thing there, and my and I would actually feel this like rush in my chest.
Yes,
I would
exactly.
actually feel this rush and this anxiety, and I'll be like, I just can't deal with this right now. I don't want to. And sometimes it would take me days before I would even have the courage to open the envelope to see
Absolutely.
what it is. And then when you know anything, the deadline to pay the bill has passed, and then you got these late fees attacked onto it. And I was like, oh, I could have avoided that if I had just opened it.
Yeah. If I had got past the fear to deal
Uh-huh.
with it, have the courage to open it. And I think sometimes it's really just picking up the phone. I know I've gone through that where I've called creditors and they say, if you had called us 2 days ago, we could have helped you resolve this. A lot of times, because that fear kicks in, we don't move, we don't operate, we don't do anything because we are afraid. And so we do nothing. And so sometimes fear paralyzes us to the point, just like you said, let me just put it in the drawer and I'll deal with that later, or I won't deal with it. And then once it's on my credit report, I'm mad because my credit score low.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah. Sarah says when we continue to do the same thing, we will continue to get the same results. When we
Exactly.
want different, we must do differently. And then Lynette says money is important because we can't live without it, even as believers.
Especially as believers. Because
Right.
if we're here to support the kingdom means cash. Support the
Mm-hmm.
kingdom means money. So we got to learn how to manage money.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not that we don't have money, If we don't know how to manage money, we can get millions, we can get thousands, and we would be just as broke as we were if we were making $20 because we haven't learned how to manage money.
And we often say, when I start making more money, or when I start making 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, then I'm gonna do this and do. No, I
No,
don't.
you got to
What
do
you
it
think about
now.
that?
Got to do it now. If you don't learn how to use it now, again, you're going to make the same problems over and over and over. You're going to make the same mistakes over and over.
Yes, and Sarah says we have to learn to bring everything under the principles of God. To,
Exactly.
you can't. And then we're saying God, Jesus as believers, and but even I have found, even outside in the secular world, I look at people in the secular world, they are so prosperous because a lot of
They're
them
givers.
actually work the godly principles.
Exactly. They
A
do.
lot of them work the godly principles. They
Exactly.
give, they pay tithes,
They do.
and they pay tithes, and sometimes it's not always to a church. They may pay it to a nonprofit, or
Yep.
they take a certain percentage and do things in the community.
They pay it to other
They
people. They
pay
pay
it to
their
other
God.
people, and so they operate these principles. And then here we are, we kingdom people, and we were like, well, how come they millionaires, or why they so because they work in the principles,
They work in the principles. Absolutely.
and they're managing their money.
And
They're
they,
managing their money. I think you mentioned the parable in the Bible where the one man had the one talent, one man had two, and one man had five. And the one that now look, if I ain't have a one, I would have been trying to figure out how can I get two, how can I get two, how can I get five, how can I get 10? Let me work this one. Let
exactly.
me see.
And
But
people use that parable all the time. But the truth is, it's easy for them to say, I would have did this, I would have did that. So then my question becomes, okay, what are you doing with your one talent right now?
yeah,
What are you
the
actually doing
question.
with that one talent? If you can sing and you're an amazing singer, but the only time you sing is in church, you work a 9 to 5 job, and you're saying, man, I really need to make more money. I really, really want to make more money. But you're too afraid to produce a CD. You're too afraid to get on YouTube and sing, but you complain about working a 9 to 5. Now, what would you really do with that one talent? You burying it, even though you think, oh, okay, I use it on Sunday, I use it at prayer and Bible. No, 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 no. You buried it. You're not
Mhm.
really utilizing that talent because you're not making it reach its full potential. So
Yes.
we talked about fear. I like to do little things to make people see where we really are. So I want everybody, we're gonna play a little game. We're gonna take a minute and play a game. So everybody take out your phone, and on your phone, pull up your camera. Pull up your camera on your phone and make sure it's facing you, like as if you were going to take a picture. So make sure your camera is facing you, like you were going to take a picture. Okay. Everybody got their phone up? Can you let us know when you're ready? Text us in the comments. Let us know when you are ready. Let us know when you are ready. Put your phone on camera. If you're on your phone, get a mirror. Grab a mirror right quick. Get your mirror together. We want you to be able to look at the mirror. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to talk a few minutes. And then I want you to write down if you laughing or if you have a serious face. So I want you to tell me in the comments, I laugh or I have a serious face. Okay? Everybody ready?
Okay,
Okay.
Samantha says she's ready. Come on, the rest of you all. I'm just going to read a couple of comments while they get ready.
Okay.
Lynette says management of our money is work. Come on, you said that's the truth. And she said you can tithe out for $1. So she's bringing it down to something that's simple as $1 to put, to get it in your mind. Shamika says she's ready. Come on, you all, are you ready? Yes, Lynette's ready. All right, I think they're ready now, Bernadette.
Okay. So I want everybody to get in their mind every dime you owe. Just put that in your mind. Every bill you owe, every dime you owe, everybody you got to pay, all of that. Get all those numbers in your mind. Get those numbers in your mind. So I'm going to say, in 6 months from now, no, let's make it shorter. In 30 days from now, you're going to be able to pay all your bills once a year. You can pay all your bills in once a year. In 6 months from now, you're going to pay bills twice a year. All the bills that you just thought about, you're going to be able to pay it twice a year. Oh, maybe you're going to be able to pay all your bills one time a year. You make one-time payment, all your bills paid for the year. Did you laugh? Were you looking serious? So put in the comments, I started laughing. Put in the comments, I had a serious look. Tell me which one were you doing? When I made that comment, you can pay all your bills, make one-time payment every 6 months. You're gonna pay all your bills every 6 months. Or you're gonna pay all your bills once a year. Did you laugh? Or did you have a serious look?
Shamika said she had a serious look.
Okay, let's get a few more people.
Samantha said she was crying laughing.
Okay, let's get a few more people.
Let's see. Sarah said she was smiling to the truth.
Okay.
Lynette said she shouted hallelujah.
Okay, but are you laughing or do you have a serious look? Not hallelujah.
She's
are
laughing.
you laughing?
She's laughing. She's laughing.
Okay.
Rona said she has a serious look.
Okay. All right. So I did that exercise because most of the people seem like that we're interacting with are believers. So I want to tell you my Bible story that I was listening to and I was reading as we were putting this together. And you guys can continue to put that in there. God said to Abraham, "You're going to have a son." Abraham was old. Abraham was like, "I'm going to have a son." God said to Sarah, "You an old lady, Sarah, and you going to have a son." Sarah started laughing. Sarah was like, "I'm not, what? That's funny to me." But that's what happened. Now, let me tell you what happened. When we think about fear, we see fear as I'm shaking, I'm nervous, I'm sweating, but that's not always fear. Fear is also laughter. When Sarah heard that she was going to have a baby, she was like, "Oh, that's fear. Fear kicked in. That can't be believable. I'm too old to be having a baby. I know I'm not going to have a baby. God done messed up. He done made a mistake." So she started laughing. Abraham said, "Oh, this thing might be real. I might have a baby because God said I can have a baby." So if I said to you, you can pay all your bills, you can get to a place where you can pay all your bills twice a year. Every 6 months you pay a bill. Every 6 months you pay a bill. You only pay bills twice a year. You either if fear didn't kick in, you had a serious look like, "Oh, that's possible." If fear kicked in, you started laughing like, "I know. I'm looking at my bills. I know that ain't possible." And I say that so you understand what fear looked like sometimes. Because fear to us most of the time look like we're sweating and we're scared and we're shaking. But sometimes fear comes in as the form of laughter. So when we're making up our mind and we're about to deal with this money, you start laughing like, "Oh my God, ain't no way in the world I can pay these bills off. That you tripping. That is fear kicking in." So when that happened to you, tell fear, "Nope, that's believable. I believe I can get to the point where I can pay these bills twice a year." You know how you can pay your bills twice a year? You pay them up every 6 months. If you look at everything you owe and figured out how to pay it up for the first 6 months, you know how we pay our car insurance. We can pay it up for 6 months or we can pay it up for a year. Same difference. If you know roughly how much your electric bill is going to be, you can pay it up for 6 months or you can pay it up for a year. That's what I'm saying. It's possible, but the first time we hear it, fear immediately comes and say, "That's not possible." So we start laughing.
And that laughter is to cover up.
It's fear. Yeah, it's to cover. It's absolutely
to cover up. And I think sometimes it signifies unbelief.
It's exactly what it is.
People laugh you to scorn. You ever heard that saying? laugh you to scorn. You say you're gonna do something, and people don't believe. They just start laughing at you. Are you
Absolutely.
serious?
Absolutely.
Really? Are
Yeah.
you serious?
I heard
But
Steve Harvey talked about he wanted to be on TV, and his teacher punished him like, "Boy, you know you ain't gonna be on no TV. Are you serious? Where is he?"
on television, and he sent her a few of them too.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And the reason we do that a lot of time, when you talk about, I remember talking to a lady and she was obese. She was really, really obese. And she said, in order for me to cover this up, what I would do was I would make fun of myself. So when other people came in to make fun of me, it didn't hurt as bad. And so she made fun of herself and she made a joke out of it and she laughed about it. And because just what you said, Cassandra, it's about covering it up. It's about protecting me. I don't want to get my hopes built up that, that this is something you're telling me I can do. But if I don't do it, I'm hurt now because this is something I thought I could do because you told me I could do it. So we have to be really careful with fear, that fear will trap us in those things that we will hear something, or as the young lady talked about, we're in the valley and we're in the valley with debt, and God tells us, okay, this is your strategy, and I'm gonna get you out of debt by selling pies. And you say, God, you mean pies ain't gonna get me out of debt? Pies will get you out of debt if you do it the way God tells you to do it. But when we first hear it, if fear immediately comes, he's showing up. He's immediately showing up to take that idea, to take that dream, to take that vision. Because what if you've been praying about, Lord, I want to be debt free, I want to be secure, I want more bank money in the bank. Well, what if God is telling you when you work that idea, your increase will come? But you got to work that idea. So you can keep praying on your knees all day long. Lord, send me money. I want increase. And he's telling you, bake the pie. Go bake the pie. As soon as you bake the pie, increase coming. You can stop asking me. I got your increase. Only person holding it up is you. So we got to learn how to get past that fear. So when you hear something, you hear an idea and you start laughing, tell fear to stop. Say, I recognize you. So that's what we got to say when fear comes. Like, I recognize you. All right.
And so let's now this is a good point because I think it was who was saying something. Doretha was saying, take your limits off of God. Now you were saying that when he told her, now I think she was at the time, she was old. And in this day of time, a woman ain't about to have no baby at no 70 and 80 years old.
No.
I think she was 90 when she had the baby.
Yes.
And so she was looking at her own ability.
Yes.
At 90 or at 70 or how old she was. Because I think when God first spoke it to Abraham, he was 75. So she was looking at her ability.
Yes.
I can't have no baby. And so when you said pay your bills off in 6 months or pay your bills off in a year, and people start laughing, they was like, I can't pay no bills off in no 6 months. I can't pay, but we didn't say you could do it in yourself.
Exactly. But this is what our thought process is. When
right.
we're talking about money for me means I am processing money on the level where I am and where I see money. So if I see money as $17 an hour, I'm only making $17 an hour. How am I pay all these bills off? Okay, again, just what you said. Get your mindset out of making $17 an hour because you can make way more than $17 an hour. Matter of fact, I don't even want you to see yourself as an hourly number anymore. I want you to, again, we talking about our Christian beliefs and working God's principles. God will give you an idea that's beyond $17 an hour. Right. So we have to get our mindset changed that I'm not thinking on the level I am, but wherever you are mind-wise, that's how you think about your money. So if you think low money-wise, that's where your mindset is. So if you're like, well, I'm way up here, Bernadette, no, you might be right here. You thinking you way up here, but when you start dealing with your mind for real, you probably about right here. Again, not saying anything negative. I'm saying shine the mirror on ourselves and figure out where we really are. So even when I was making $12 an hour, when I was making $7.25, I was still saying, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I know I'm gonna be a millionaire. This girl, you make $7.25 and work at Macy's. You gonna be a millionaire. I am going to be a millionaire. So wherever your money level is based on your mindset. So if you making $7.25 or $10 an hour, your mindset can still be up here. Your mindset does not have to be here. Your money is where your mind is, because if your mind is up here, you're going to start working your money like it's up here. But if your mind is down here somewhere, guess what? You're going to operate down here. So you're not going to pay your bills on time because your mindset is down here. You're not going to go the extra mile because your mindset is like, girl, I'm going to always be in debt. So then you start saying crazy stuff. We all going to be in debt for the rest of our life. No, that's fear talking. Absolute fear talking. Watch your words. Absolutely watch your words.
Mm-hmm. And cause and it starts with what you're thinking in your mind, and you have to be intentional about watching your words. Because
Exactly.
the thoughts will come, and you have to train your thoughts. You have to train your thoughts, so you have to watch your words. You have to be intentional about that. If the thought come to your mind, don't say it.
Don't say
If
it.
the thought comes to your mind, oh, this can't happen for me, or I'll never. No, don't say it. What you
No.
need to do is deal with that thought.
Exactly.
Deal with that thought, and you ask yourself, okay, why am I thinking that? Why am
Where
I
did it
saying
come from? That's
where
my
did it
question,
come
is where
from?
did this come from?
Yeah, is it because all my other family members, or my mom or my dad, they didn't have nothing, or because they didn't have no, like? So are you basing it, where is it coming from? Why are you thinking that way?
Exactly.
Why are you thinking that way? So what is it that you're meditating on that molds your thought processes when it
Absolutely.
comes to finances and to money? And for me, one of the things I focus on a lot is my why. Why
Exactly. Why?
do I want to have why do I want to have abundance in finances? Why? What is the purpose? Is money, and this is a question for you, is money my servant, or am I being a servant to money? Do I want to take this money? What do I want to use this money for?
Exactly.
It's what is the purpose? What is going why do I want $1 million? Why do I want to be a millionaire? Definitely don't want to, because if you using $100 and you're just using it for consumption, just to buy and buy and buy, you're gonna do the same thing with a million. Uh,
Absolutely.
Errol Jackson said, "Money answers all things." So if you don't have any, you can't you can't provide a solution.
Absolutely. You cannot provide a solution. So let's talk about that number. When I deal with finances and I'm dealing with my clients, I always ask them, "What is?" You got to know that number every morning. You got to know what does it take to operate my home. What does it take to operate my business? If you're getting up every day and you're just going to work and you get your paycheck and you pay bills, how do you know when you arrive to the place where you want to be? How do you know when you've succeeded? How do you know I'm here? This is what I'm working toward. If you don't know that number, how do you know when you're going to be debt free if you don't know that number? I can tell you exactly how much money I need to make every month in order to make my home operate and run smoothly. If I'm not making that money, that number by the 15th of the month, I'm starting to get concerned. Like, okay, I know I got to make 20,000 by the 30th. If I'm now at 11,000 and I'm that far from 20,000, I know okay, what I got to do something. I got to put some things in place, because it's going to take 20,000 a month to run my business. It's going to take 20,000 a month to run my lifestyle. If you don't know that number, every day you get up and you're doing the same thing. I want you to think about the last 30 days. If you're talking about being out of debt and one day being a millionaire, and God got plans for me and he's sending me somewhere, and he got, he wants me to do this and he wants me on the mission field and all of that. Have you done the exact same thing for the last 30 days and getting the exact same result? Are you in the right tool, using the right tools? Are you in the right vehicle to get to the place where you're saying, this is where God wants me? Are you using the right tools? Are you in the right vehicle? Because if you're not, and you've been doing that for the last 30 days, more than likely you've been doing that all the year. And so here we are now in October. December is fastly approaching, and we saying the same thing. Oh God, how am I going to get there? You're going to have to change your mind. And how you change your mind is with courage, with confidence, and consistency. You're going to have to do something different. Okay. What you want to add, Miss Cassandra?
Well, how are we going to get there with and courage? You got to
Courage.
Courage is doing something in the face of fear. I'm telling you, we might not. We if we really think about it, when we have so many hangups when it comes to money, and we feel like finances and money is something that's so huge and overwhelming that we cannot conquer, or we cannot have authority over. But you can have authority over finances and lack. You can.
Exactly.
You can have authority over that. You don't have it. It's all about your mind. You don't have to live in a constant state of struggle.
No.
You don't have to live in a constant state of struggle and lack and being without. You need to face it, become aware of it, and acknowledge what you are doing. Why is it that I'm living from paycheck to paycheck? And be honest, because it's you. It's
Exactly.
something that we're doing. We want to say, oh, I'm not making enough money. Oh, I'm not. When I was working a job and wasn't making but $16,000 a year, people thought I was rich. They thought I had a lot of money. They thought I had a lot of money. But it wasn't because I had a lot of money. It's because of the things that I was doing with my
With my
money.
money.
It was what I was doing with my money. And what I did was I took my tithe, my 10% off the top, because I acknowledged the one who blessed me with the job.
Absolutely.
I acknowledged, and
Absolutely.
I let him know that I appreciated it. So I put him first. And then the other 90%, it was what I did, what I did with it. And that's the thing too. A lot of times, because we pay the 10%, but what you doing with the other 90?
With the other
So
90%.
you have to be truthful and honest about what you are doing with your money. And I know it can be so ugly. It
Yes.
can be
The
so
truth can be,
ugly.
and you know
And
what, Cassandra, I think one of the things, I work with so many people, so I could tell you stories all day long. I think the biggest story the biggest hurdle that I hear people talk about is that whole barrel, crab in a barrel, or the
mm,
crab theory. They immediately say, well, my family or my friends, every time I try to get out, they pull me down. We know what that theory is. And that theory say, if a bunch of people a bunch of crabs in there, one crab try to get out, somebody always pulling them down. Most people say, if I do this, they are going to say this. They are going to say that. And my
mm-hmm,
my question is always, who is they?
mm-hmm,
Who is they? A lot of times when we're building this up, the they is in our mind. If you cannot put a name to they, stop holding on to the excuse of they.
mm-hmm,
And you focus on being in the bucket. Because if the crabs were in the bucket by themselves, guess what? A crab could get out of that bucket. Most crabs could turn the bucket over and get out the bucket. The issue becomes when there's a lot of crabs in the bucket, yes, they are pulling each other down. The crab that's trying to get out the bucket, you know why they're trying to get out the bucket? Because that crab realized this is not even where I belong. I don't even
mm-hmm,
supposed to be in this bucket. And
mm-hmm.
that's how we have to be. Don't worry about the they that's still in the bucket. Focus totally 100% on you. As my piece said, mind your own business. And what
Mm-hmm.
is mind your own business? We're not using that sarcasm of mind your business, stop being in my business. We're saying mind your business of getting you in order. Mind your business on working on the things that we're talking about. If your finances are in trouble, mind your business. Stop giving all of your money away in the name of helping people. And sometimes helping people is family members. Sometimes helping people is our friends. Sometimes it's helping people is us trying to show off. So if you can't drive a Mercedes and pay for the insurance and the repairs, maybe you need to get a Nissan. So all the time, it's not they. It's sometimes we bring this financial hardship on ourselves. We need to sit down and tell ourselves the truth. If you cannot afford a 5,000 square foot home, go get you a 1,600 square feet apartment and be well.
Mm-hmm.
And be well. It's better to do that and have stress free and peace of mind than to be trying to prove something to someone else, because when that person is dead and gone, you've proved nothing. And there
Mm-hmm.
you sit and struggled all these years. I know people that did that. They want to wear the big hat and they want to wear the finest clothes and have nothing. They're in debt, even in their old age, still trying to deal with that. Between the age of 20 and 80, you were focusing on people seeing what you have on. And here you are, 70 and 100, and trying to figure out where you're going to sleep. Your priorities in
Ooh,
the wrong
my
place.
Lord.
We got to do better than that. We got to get it together. And again, that's why our focus so much is on us. And we talk about dealing with us and tell ourselves the truth. So when you get off of this summit, focus on you. We can always look at our sisters, we can look at our family members, and we can always say, every year they get a new car. Every year they want to put down new carpet. They got new dishes. Every time I go over there, she got a new bedroom set. Get your mind off of that. We stress ourselves out about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with us. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Because I so focused on my own house and my own business, I can't even tell you unless my neighbor call and say what's going on at their house. I just happen to go outside and say, oh, they mowed their yard. Oh my God. Nothing to do with me. Again, bring your focus in on your house. Make sure that you and your husband can retire. Make sure you got life insurance. Make sure, let me talk about this a little bit. Because most people would be excited, Christina. They're like, oh, I got a debit card. I only use my debit card. I don't use no credit card. Not right. Not.
Not right.
Get you a credit card. I didn't say get in debt. I said get you a credit card. When your child turns 16, 18, get your child a credit card. Build a good score. So that's how they're building credit. Now, if you know you're not going to pay that on time, don't get your child no credit card. But you use a debit card all the time. Yes, you debt free, but you have no good credit either. So until you are, on that 500,000 level where you can pay everything in cash, that's fine. But until you get there, you need to be having a credit card. I have a credit card. I pay all my bills on a credit card, everything. So it pays the electric bill, the water bill, the gas bill. If I go buy food, I put it on the credit card. Then I pay that credit card every month. Why? Build my credit. So now if I need a capital for my business, I have it. If I need to go borrow it, I have it. So yes, debt-free comes in two different ways. Debt-free comes in a way that you don't owe a bunch of money, but you still got to have credit ability, that if you need credit, you have it. You still need that good credit score. Until you are multi-millionaire, you still need to have a good credit score when you can't pay cash for everything or just buy it outright, and you need to go get a car and you got to finance that car. That's how you do that. I would encourage you, get a credit card. The only way you're going to get to a $10,000 balance credit card is you have had to build that credit, okay? So don't always use your debit card. Use a credit card, okay?
Okay. And Doretha says if you make $200 a month, you need to act as though you only make 50. And what she's
Absolutely.
saying is you live beneath what you actually have. And
Absolutely.
Frank Howard used to teach that all the time. Live within
Absolutely.
your means. I
Below
want to
your means.
ask you this, Bernadette, because you were talking about crabs in a barrel and the crab theory, and somebody's trying to get out of debt or trying to get financially free, but they got this other person, and this other person, the husband, is trying to get financially free, trying to manage the money, but the wife is still spending. I'm just giving a scenario. The wife is still spending, not watching what's in the bank account. And then here it is. Here comes the bank statement. And you talked about this earlier, that talked about the talked about those overdraft fees. And so here it is, you got to pay, you got to try to cover this amount that you wrote this check for or whatever, and you got to pay these additional fees. And so here it is, one person is working on trying to get to the point where you're financially not just stable, but you're in abundance, as Lynette said, exceeding abundantly. You are overflowing. But you got this person now, you married to this person.
Well,
You
the
got this
first thing you have to
in a
accept
different
is
direction. Huh?
when we talk about equally yoked, you're gonna have to realize that you may not be equally yoked in that area. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that when we now learning, as we're older, equally yoked has nothing to do with just religion.
Mm-hmm.
Equally yoked is just what you just said. I am mentally stable in finances, but maybe she is not mentally stable in finances, or he is not mentally stable in finances. And when I say mentally stable, I'm talking about being a good steward. So what has worked, what I believe will work, what has worked for me in the past is I'm a numbers person. So if you show me where I'm failing in numbers, I can see it. So if you give me a spreadsheet, my bank statement, and you said, okay, Bernadette, in 30 days, we spent $600 in overdraft fees. And I'm telling you because I was guilty of that. And what I did was I had spent $335. As you see, I still remember the number. $335 in overdraft fees. And that was my whole come to Jesus moment. It was like, okay, this is crazy. And it probably was $50 that I was trying to cover. But in covering that, all this other stuff started, happen. You know how then this came through, and then this came through. That's when you writing checks, you using debit cards, and then you know what we like to say, Cassandra. Them bank people down there crazy. Actually, they not. It's
Mm-mm.
you. I have to say it's me. Them bank people not crazy. It's me. So what has to happen is you got to sit down as a couple, not angry, not mad. It's not gonna work out angry and mad. You have to have it prepared, just as if you were going to, I have to do a lot of presentations. So when I do presentations, I have it printed out. It's all color. It's all this. And so that's how I do my bills when, at that time when I was in trouble, was I had to present it to myself and say, okay, this where you messing up at. You're not balancing that checkbook and using this debit card. So I decided to tear my checks. I can't write checks and use a debit card. And then I advanced to stop using the debit card and use the credit card. Because guess what? When you're using that credit card and you hit that limit, guess what they say? Decline. No.
Mm-hmm.
They just say no. And guess what? You're not going to get that anymore. And that helped me stay on track. I remember my mother used to take her money and she would put it in envelopes. So when I was younger, that's how I paid my bills. If I knew my light bill was going to be $50, I put $50 in the envelope. If I wanted to go to the movies, I put my movie money in the envelope. I put my gas money in the envelope. Now we all know a lot of places don't do cash anymore. They ain't got no change.
Mm-hmm.
And so the envelope system helped me not to overdraft. Now let's go back to your question. If couples are involved, you're going to have to communicate. You're going to have to sit down and say, okay, this is what happened this whole year up until now. This is how much we lost. Now, for women, we smart, we intelligent, we know what to do. Whatever, my husband like to dress up. So if he was doing that, I'd be like, okay, I can get you 2 more suits if we weren't overdrafting. I know you love this cologne and you love these different Ethan Allen shoes or whatever they call. The shoes $500. So I can get you 2 more pair.
Mm-hmm.
If you just stop, if we can get a handle on this, but then we can say, for those women, if it's men, whoever the opposite is, can say, why don't we try this? Since you've been handling this for the last year, why don't you let me step in and help out? So sometimes presentation is everything. How we
Mm-hmm.
present stuff to people is everything. So if you present it in, I'm coming to help. I'm not coming to complain. I'm not coming to fuss. Let me take some of this off your plate because maybe this is a lot sometimes. Because I've done
Mm-hmm.
that with my staff members. My office man, she would tell me, she's like, I'm not good with confrontation, Miss Frazier. But what you can do is you can tell me what to do. And once I realized what she's not good at, I stopped trying to make her, confront people and go fire people and all that wasn't her strong point.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was like, I fire everybody. I just need you to make sure they do the work I'm asking them to do.
Mm-hmm. And so it takes being able, but it takes both persons getting to the point where, okay, I'm sick of this. I'm
Exactly.
sick of us paying all this money and
Show it on paper. Show it on
and
paper.
show it
This
on
is what's
paper.
happening right here.
And it's the same thing if you having to live for paycheck to paycheck.
It's
When
exactly
you
the
write
same thing.
down, when you get your receipts and you write down your action, what you've been doing for a whole month, and you see where you're spending all of that money. One time I wrote down, I took every receipt I had. I found out that I was giving Walmart about $300 a month.
And it's
When
easier than
I
that.
when
It's
I
easier
saw
than
that,
that
I was
now.
like, "Oh no, Walmart,
It's
no."
easier than that. Now we can just go right online, pull out bank statements. I look, Christina, I do mine every 30 days. Every 30
Mhm,
days, I pull my bank statement, put it on the spreadsheet and see. I call it wasting money. Where am I wasting money? Because I
mhm,
want to be a good steward. I want to make sure that as God bless me, I'm not being wasteful. I
mhm.
want to be a good steward. I don't want to get to 90 and 60 and 70 at Walmart. I'm like, welcome to Walmart because no, 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 I can't be nothing but no welcome to Walmart. I'm telling you,
Yes,
and
I'm
yeah,
telling you, I had when I put it on paper, I was just I talked about myself. I said, now you ought to be. I said, this is ridiculous.
ridiculous
You spending this much money. What? And when I would look at the receipts, it would just be foolery. And
foolishness.
I said, this got to stop. So what I
Exactly.
started doing was making a list of what I needed. And
Exactly.
I would go in there and I would get exactly that. And I would make sure I make my list, make sure that I put on there everything that I needed. So I won't have to be going back saying, oh, I forgot this or I forgot that. And I would make my list and I would buy it. And I tried to make sure that if I only went to Walmart maybe once or twice a month.
Exactly.
And when I went in there, I didn't go looking all over the whole store.
No.
I
Mm-mm.
go directly to what I'm supposed to get, put it in my basket, and go. And I cut that. Oh, when I tell you, I cut that out because I refused to give all my money. That was just ridiculous. And I'm trying to figure out why I don't have enough. Well, you done spent the extra $200 or $300 that you supposed to have
Wasted. Wasted.
on something that you had no business had no business doing. And so for me, that really worked to put it down on paper, and then like you were saying, not to just
Yes.
swiping that card and then writing the checks and not going back to balance, not
Yes.
going back to and even now, like you said, you don't even have to sit down. You can pull up your bank statement
Right on the computer.
on the computer and you can check your account. And if you know you only have this much money in it, don't go swipe that card.
Don't do
Don't
it.
go,
Don't do
you
it.
know. So it's just somebody I wanted to see. Lynette was saying she wanted us to go back to mention those three C's. So Lynette, we were saying the first thing you have to do, you have to have courage to face your fear
Yes.
about money. You have to fair, and these three C's can be used in any area, but we're talking about money. You
Yes.
have to have courage to face your fear. And then the second C is confidence because she started out talking about believing
That
in the
is
beginning
possible.
that is possible. So reflect on that a little bit more, Bernadette, about the confidence piece.
Confidence, and we're going to talk about courage and confidence together a little bit. Courage and confidence is not the same thing. Courage is having the ability to move. Once you start moving, the confidence will come. I'm telling you, I promise you, I'm going to say probably 10, 15 years ago, you would have never caught me on Facebook doing anything live. It's not my world. It's not my comfort zone. It's just not who I am. But I found the courage to do it. And the more I do it, the confidence came. Now, let me talk about courage. Where did the courage come from? I got my first check, $21,000. That's another subject. When I got the courage to do it, it increased my finances. And then the confidence came to say, okay, you can do this. It's not as bad as you think it is. So let's just go on into consistency, because that was the third C, being consistent. Because what we find is if you want to get anything to succeed, you're going to have to get up and do it every day and do it consistently, whether it's good or it's bad. I did videos that was horrible. I did presentations that was horrible. I wanted to just crawl up under the desk and didn't even want the people to know my name. But every time they called, I said, yes, I'll do it. Not because I thought I was great, but I was trying to get past the fear. And they was paying money. You know, they was cutting checks.
That was your motivation.
And that gave me that extra motivation, like, go master this. And so what I was trying to do with consistency is I will master something. So if you can be consistent, even if that's not your greatest skill, you can learn to master that, and that would become a good skill. I can't sing, but if I was consistent and sung every day and maybe took some lessons, I probably could sing a little bit right now. If I sung, everybody just drop off the line. I promise you would. But if I was consistent, and I got that from Cassandra. Cassandra told me that years ago, because I would always brag about Cassandra can sing. She was like, I haven't always been able to sing. She said, I used to close myself up in a room and sing for hours and hours. And I taught myself how to sing. And so that's how, when I tell people, like, if you want to sing, all you got to do is close yourself up in a room and just practice every single day, and you can sing. Now, can I sing? Absolutely not. But I haven't been consistent. But what I can do is I can talk about money. I can tell you how to get out of debt because I've been consistent in doing that. I can tell you how to pay your bills twice a year. I've been consistent at doing that. I can tell you how to live debt free. I've been consistent at doing that. And all I did was take the courage one day to say, I'm sick and tired. Somebody put it in here and said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of being broke. I was tired that I couldn't take a vacation. I was tired that I was driving the worst car and it was breaking down, and I'm calling, can you pick me up? Can you drop me off? I was sick and tired of being so broke that I'm saving for a $20 pair of shoes. I'm going in the store, and you know how we do sometimes the same. They tell me I rub on it and touch it and claim it, Jesus, hallelujah, pray. Stop. Just become debt free, and you can go buy whatever you want to buy. You don't have to lay hands on. You shouldn't be praying about your rent. No. You should be making enough money that you can pay your rent every month. That's not nothing you need to be praying about and suffering through. Get your house in order by minding your own business.
And Lynette says, now Lynette, to the strategist you were giving, she said, I try to use lists and budgets when I go to the store. That's a good strategy. That's a good strategy. Thank you for putting that in there, Lynette. And then Ira says, courage is what I need badly, because I be around here sounding like the lion from the Wizard of Oz.
Don't claim it anymore.
Well, we know that lion needed some courage. Oh my God. Jamie says, start with the now and move on. Samantha said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Of being sick and tired. And you know, one thing we were talking about earlier, and I was with Bernadette, and I was also talking about this with a friend too, Dr. Billingsley. She was with us the last time. We were talking about how we as believers, we walk around now. We might not be all out in the street doing all kinds of stuff, but we won't handle our mental. We won't do anything about our emotional and mental weaknesses and problems. And so, because one reason why I know that we are so emotional, when we're at church, you can't beat us dancing and shouting and running around. But when it's time to apply the word, we're not seeing no growth. We're
No,
not seeing change because we won't deal with our discipline and our thinking, our mental
absolutely.
state. Mental
Absolutely.
health is a state of mind.
Absolutely.
Everything everything about you is your state of mind. So you got to get to the point where I want to change.
I want to change. I
I
think
want to change.
Samantha said sick and tired of being sick and tired. Let's talk about sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're not sick and tired of being sick and tired until you can move in silence. You know how you sick and tired? Don't even nobody even know you put that in place. Like, okay, as soon as this is over, you say, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and do it right now. You're not sick and tired. You said, well, tomorrow I'm gonna do it, maybe next week. Sick and tired is when this is over, I'm gonna do this today. And I'm not calling nobody. I'm not making no phone calls. I'm not having no discussion. I'm not having no conference call. I am moving. You know you sick and tired when you move in silence. It's like being in a bad relationship. That's how I relate it to. We all probably been in a bad relationship. When you're in a bad relationship, you just get out of it. Now, you may complain for years, you may complain for months, but when you sick and tired of being sick and tired, you get up and do something. And the next time we hear from you, it's like, what? You moved? You moved to a whole nother state? Oh my God, when did you do that? When I got sick and tired. When I had enough. We call it having enough.
Lynette said rock bottom, and that is the truth. Brother,
Absolutely.
that I know you probably don't call no names, but I just definitely want you to share the story of what you told me the other day, a person that you had just been preaching to. You had just been
Oh,
preaching to.
she won't mind if I share my story. This is my niece, y'all. This is my niece. My niece called me. I was so happy for my niece. Oh my God. And she gonna get on here and tell her own story. But I gotta tell y'all about my niece, Deanna. Her name is Deanna. Deanna is like my other child. And I have been in Deanna's life since she was a baby. And she come and I've been preaching, Deanna, do this, get your life together. You almost 30, do this, blah, blah. I mean, over and over and over. My niece called me and she said, she had texted me to call her. And I was like, I was working and couldn't call her. And then she called until I picked the phone up, Cassandra. And I said, hey, D. And she said, Auntie, I got it. She said, I got it. She said, the light bulb came on. I was like, what? She was like, I got my whole life together. I got everything together. I got my own place, got my own car, got this, got out of bad relationships. She said, I got rid of all that foolishness, all that junk, surrounding myself with good people. She was like, I woke up one day, said a conversation with myself, was like, Deanna, what you doing? I said, what, Deanna? A month had passed, and I didn't even know she was doing this. Her mom didn't know she was doing this. Nobody knew she was doing this. Completely moved in silence. Before, she would have been calling, but what do you think about this? And he doing this, and she doing this, and the dog did that. She went through this whole laundry list. But when that girl got sick and tired of being sick and tired, let me tell you, when I heard from her, she was saying, I'm going to be inviting you over because I got my own place. I'll pick you up because I got my own car. I said, when did this happen? She said, I woke up one morning and I had enough. And she said, and I talked to myself and said, okay, you got to get it together. And when I tell you, my young niece got it together. I can't even. I'm still grinning. As you see, I got this big old smile. I'm just so proud of her for getting it together. So to all the parents, all the aunts, keep preaching. I promise one day the light bulb will come on for our children, for our nieces, for our nephews, your clients. It may not seem like they're getting it, but the light bulb will come on. I'm just super proud of her. So I just had to share her story.
I wanted you to share that because that's exactly how sometimes, the seed is planted. Like we're talking today, we're planting seeds. We're planting seeds. Somebody else may come along and water, but we hope that you get it. Rose Graham said, hearing and hawing, finna get ready to. That's what people hear. And as long as they're hearing and hawing and finna get ready to, they ain't about ready to do nothing.
I remember I have a friend, Elder Chris Jones, and he said, when you trying, you're lying. He said, the moment you say, I'm trying to do this, he said, you lying. Stop lying.
I remember this lady on Steve Harvey's show, 80-some years old, said she had been wanting to lose weight for years, and she finally lost weight. They showed pictures from when she was in her younger years, and Steve Harvey said, I've been trying to lose, I forget how many pounds. She said, stop trying, just do it. Stop trying. Just
Stop
do
trying,
it.
just do it.
I like what Jamie said. Jamie says, I am writing down numbers right now. See, that's what we're
Awesome.
talking about.
Awesome. That's
That's
how
what
you
we're
do it.
talking about. Take action. Do
Right now.
something. What are you getting ready to do now to go to change? Talking to
Exactly.
yourself doesn't mean that you're psychotic. That's right, Lynette. Because we need to talk to ourselves. We need to encourage ourselves. We need, and I'm so happy because Bernadette's niece is 30 years old. So
Yes.
guess what? At 30, she
Yes.
got it.
Got it.
So now she can be at a young age. She's not waiting till she's 50. She's not waiting until she, and if you are 50 and you just
It's
wonderful,
okay.
it's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay. But it's beautiful that because sometimes we feel like young people don't listen. But it's beautiful that at 30, she's saying, okay, I want to do something different. What I've been doing
Exactly.
in my life for the past 10 years has not been working. And so
Exactly.
I have the information. I have the information. I have the strategies. I have the knowledge. Someone has told me what to do. Well, I'm ready to make a change now because as Lynette has said, I've hit rock bottom. And I just don't want to live like this anymore. And
It's
that's what we're
implementing.
saying. Huh?
Implementing. You got to implement the change.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Mm-hmm.
implement the change.
And
Put it into
sometimes
effect.
it takes courage to do that.
Absolutely.
It takes courage to do that. Wisdom has no age limit. That's right. Sometimes
Absolutely.
it takes courage to do that, and it takes it, and that's why it's important to have the right people around you. It's important
Exactly.
to have the right people around you. Era Jackson, I know Era Jackson because Era Jackson is my sister. Era Jackson is one of the smartest, most industrious and resourceful women I know. I know. So it takes courage. Courage is activated in the face of fear. I
Exactly.
used to be so afraid to stand up before people to talk and sing. I mean, when they would call me, I knew they were gonna, and I would be, I prepared, I I've practiced, but then seemed like when I get there and see all those people, I was like, oh no. I would get up and leave, go outside, try to wait till the time has passed, and so that they wouldn't call me. And this is what God told me. He said, "This is what I called you to do. Now, if
Absolutely.
you don't do it, I'll use somebody else. I'll do it.
Absolutely.
Somebody else will do it." And so I had to get to the point to figure out how to work through the fear. And so what I would
Absolutely.
do was when I would get up, I would close my eyes because for me it seemed like the people were not the people, and this is the mind.
It's in
It
the
was
mind. It's
it
in the
was all
mind.
in my mind because the people were not saying that. I thought
No.
they were like,
They,
"Oh,
as
I
we
just be
say,
so
they
glad
say
when
it.
she sit down or what." No, and the people were coming to me. I enjoyed you so much. I was like, okay, this is in your mind.
Exactly.
This
Exactly.
is in your mind. And so I had to get to the point where I stood up there and did it anyway. I
Absolutely.
stood up there and did it anyway. The finances, there was a time when my bills and finances was so, but I had to get some courage. I was like, either you're going to face this or you're going to keep on dealing with this same
Same
thing. You
thing.
got to face it. You got to face,
Exactly.
acknowledge what you're doing wrong and change what you're doing.
Or Cassandra, the courage to move forward. I remember God had given me years ago to write a book, write a book, write a book, write a book. I never wrote the book. I would start and procrastinate, start and procrastinate. Procrastination is one of the worst. It is a dream killer. And I would just procrastinate and not write the book. But what I learned through the years for me, if God gives me something to do, my finances are tied to that. And so when I wrote the first book, guess what? My finances was tied to that. So when again, that's what I'm sharing with you. Maybe if you do what God is telling you to do and get past that fear, the increase that you're praying for will come. Living debt free will come. So I just wrote my second book, and it's so crazy. The average person that's ordering the book, they're ordering in numbers of 50. I never. It's been weird. but people are ordering the number in 50 at a time. Now, just think would have happened if during the COVID, everything shut down. What if I wouldn't have written the book? What if God has
Mm-hmm.
been giving you, I'm gonna mention this book. I don't know who on here maybe needs to write a book or finish your book or whatever. God is telling you, and you're praying for increase. He's like, I've given you the idea. Go
Mm-hmm.
write the book. And when you write the book, go start the business. When you write the business. So get out of your mind, just what Cassandra said. Well, they gonna do this and they gonna, don't worry about they said. They gonna talk if you do something, and they gonna talk if you don't do something. But remember, who is they? If you can't write they name down and call they, then they does not exist. That's in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So tell yourself, get over they, forget about they, and move. Because again, that's a trick of the enemy. That's fear talking and making you hesitate and procrastinate, and you still in this financial crunch when your answer is here. Your answer is not just, balance your checkbook. Your answer isn't just stop overspending. Your answer is there's abundance. But you got to tap into abundance. You got to do your part for abundance. Yes, the abundance is here, but if it's not just going to show up and knock on the door, there's
Mm-hmm.
another way abundance work is you got to move. You got to take action. You're going to have to do something. Once I wrote the second book, guess what? The finances started coming in again. But I had to do something. In order for me to make money, I have to talk. So when my clients call and say, can I get on your calendar? Absolutely. Can you travel to Florida? Absolutely. Can you come to Texas? Absolutely. Can you come to New York? Absolutely. But I had to, as Cassandra said, I had to learn to get in front of people and talk. Who knew that God was going to take the thing that I was afraid of the most and turn that into my financial increase? What I was, as she said, to talk to me as a child, I was so shy. I had nothing to say. Like, you're never gonna hear me talk. But to stand here at 53 years old and have been doing this for the last 20 years, nobody but God. And even this, you hear me talking today, but guess what? I still got to pump myself up to do it. It's like, oh, I wish I could just get free checks. But no free checks are showing up. I'm having to work for those checks.
And I like what Lynette says, focus on yourself and not them. And I would like to take that further. Keep your focus on God and not and what he said to do. And
Yes,
just do it.
just do it.
Prepare. Now, when I would get up this, I will have practice. I spent time preparing. And so when the opportunities came, I didn't ask nobody, but the opportunities came. And so I
Yes,
was prepared. And every time I got up, I was prepared. But guess what? Even though I was making preparation, I had to do it.
exactly.
I had to do it. Lynette said it's no free money. So
No
you
free
all,
money.
this is good, but it's 12 o'clock noon, and we got to let you all go. But I want to say this: we're going to be doing a master class on the 3 C's, how to activate and implement the 3 C's: courage, confidence, and consistency. We're going to have it. We're going to make it available, and we're going to have the information ready for you on what is today? Today is the 16th. Think about Tuesday, let's say Wednesday. We're going to have the information available out there for registration. If you want to register for the master class, it's going to be on the 3 C's. Um, it's going to be on courage, confidence, and consistency. And Bernadette is going to be teaching that class. She's going to be teaching that master class. And I promise you all, it's going to be affordable.
Absolutely.
It's going to be affordable. Now, let me say this. I have paid up to $500, almost $1,000 to invest in myself. This class is not going to be nowhere even beginning to nothing like that. But I did it because I felt like the people who were offering the class and the material really were prepared to to
Absolutely.
to teach me. So that's why I paid it. So I'm telling you, you have to invest in yourself in order to to be to be better. All of us, some of us that are on here, like Dr. Carol, who has set this whole thing up, who's manning this whole thing. Guess what? Her services and her abilities, she's worth and valuable for whatever it is that she
Absolutely.
charges to do this. And you know what? Who wouldn't be willing to pay it because it's good, it's excellent service,
Excellent.
excellent, and you
Absolutely.
should value what a person offers. So if you want to take part in the master class that she's going to be teaching, we're going to have the information up, we're going to have the price available so that you will know what it is. And we, if you want to ready to go to that next place, you need someone to coach you, you need someone to give you the information and strategies to operate in, and it's going to be on how to activate and implement courage, confidence, and consistency. And it's going to be live. We're not going to do no pre-recordings.
Nope. Live.
Not going to do no pre-recordings. It's going to be live so that you can ask questions. So that you, if you want to come up during the, you can have a face-to-face, one-on-one. You can ask questions. So we're going to make it available. We're going to have the information out there on Wednesday so that you'll know how to contact and have the price information. We hope that you will take advantage of it because we can't sit here and say everything uh in in a short time limit. And then sometimes people need one-on-one. People needs
Absolutely.
the person that's to be reachable so that you can talk to them, so that you can interact with them. So we're going to have, yes, we have a date in mind, and we're gonna have, when we put the link up, we're gonna have um when we put the link up, we're gonna have the dates and times offered. It's gonna be 3 days. So each
Yes.
day is going to focus on one of those C's. One day it's going to be it's going to be the courage, confidence, and consistency. So it's going to be 3 days, and the master class is going to take place soon. We're not going to have no long gap. We just want to
Yes.
have a little time to put the information up so that um, we will be able to have the correct time and dates available. And we're going to try to schedule it at a time when it doesn't interfere with people working and
Absolutely.
all those different types of things. So we're going to have it available for you because guess what? We want to help. That's the whole purpose. But we're not trying to charge no big amount of money because we want to be in a position where we can help. So we're going to have that information out there. Thank you, Lynette, for asking those questions. We really do appreciate it. So this has been wonderful, you guys. Now we
Absolutely.
probably we're gonna get out of here, but probably for another 10 minutes. If you all have a question that you want to ask Bernadette right now, or if you want to ask a question about anything that we've talked about, or you need a little more clarity, we're going to take a couple of questions right now. If you have a question, but one thing that I do want to say, and maybe that this is something that we can talk about at another time, is that I was telling, I think I said it at the beginning, and I talk to people all the time, finances between couples. Thank you, Jamie. She said this was good. Finances between couples is a
It is.
big, big deal and big issue, and people have gotten divorced over it because
Yes.
one person is trying to move forward financially, and the other person not able not able to see it and not able to get there. And then people got these roles, these gender roles in mind, where I'm the man, I'm supposed to handle this, and I'm supposed to handle that, and I'm the female, and I'm this is my area. But I just
Exactly.
think sometimes where your strength is, you need to know your strength, and you need to know your weaknesses, and you need to be confident in
Exactly.
that. And sometimes building your weaknesses is allowing the person who's strong in that area take over that area to make you to balance your strengths and your weaknesses. But
Absolutely.
that takes getting to a place of confidence in who you are, and being with and having to understand that we're trying to get to what we're trying to get to. So if this is what it takes, if it takes letting you, I know a person, the wife doesn't cook very well. Well, guess what? The husband cooks. He
Mm,
preps the meals, he cooks. So that works for them. I know another couple where the husband doesn't work very well with, he's a good provider, excellent provider. Is not very good with managing the money. Well, guess what? I think I was watching on the Black Love. The lady said it took him a minute, but when he recognized that I handled the money better and he was tired of us being in financial stress, he handed it over to me.
yep. I don't
So
like the cooks, Cassandra, so we bring in a chef. There are
hey,
solutions. I promise there are solutions.
it's a solution and one that works for
And
you
one
all.
that works.
Works
Yes.
will work. So this has been wonderful. Thank you all for joining us. It was so
Thank
good, and the
you.
audience was so engaging and involved.
Yes.
I just love this audience that we've had the past 2 days. It has just been magnificent, great, and wonderful. So we're going to have the information available for you guys on the masterclass for the 3 C's. Thank you, Shamika. It was a great discussion, and thank you for participating and being a part of it. We appreciate you all so much for listening to what we have to say. Very good, Samantha said very
Absolutely.
good. So we're going to sign off because we've taken up enough of your day. But thank you for listening to us, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for your input. Sarah Von
Yes.
Linden.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sarah.
so much. We really do appreciate you all. So we look forward to engaging with you
Doretha.
all more. Thank you so much, Doretha. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to sign off. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We love you and may it be prosperous for you. Bye bye.
Absolutely.